about kind of like the entire experience and everything. And coming from your perspective and everything, I can understand that you've got, a wide range or a pretty wide lens and stuff with everything that's going on, with everything being reported to you. And how do you keep all that information? You just journal it, or did you just
Uh,
kind of like
yeah,
recall it later on?
some some was handwritten journals. Others was guys shared their calendar with me, and then I picked up the phone and talked to probably 100 different people at one point during the process of writing it down. Just to, it has to be factual
You
and,
got to
and
get the
accurate.
facts. Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, the Marines will eat you for breakfast if you
Yeah.
screw something up. So,
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
The hard facts. Yeah. Like,
We just we just had a bone earlier about some hard facts, actually.
yeah, about a refrigerator.
About a refrigerator, yeah. We might have got wrong, so we'll hatch that out later, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the book, towards the end of the book, you talked about some of, you were prescribed a bunch of pain meds and stuff like that, different medications, and you had some issues that revolved around those. Is that what led you to want to, be involved with the kind of sort of alternative therapies?
no, not really. I think it's a personal choice, whatever works for each individual. I mean, farm may work for some people, maybe more Western medicine works for others. Maybe yoga works for people. I don't know. Just depends on the person. Depends absolutely on the severity of their pain, no matter whether it's physical or psychological. It's up to them. I mean, for me, it was just I always felt like a complete bag of smashed ass whenever I was taking a bunch of meds. So I just stopped taking it and only used it in extreme circumstances if I was in acute pain for physical stuff. But for any of the psychological trauma or post-traumatic stress that I deal with personally, just comes through this connection between guys like you and others in the tribe. SaveTheBrave.org. We stay so connected to not only active duty vets, but transitioning veterans and first responders. Really, that pack of people who are protectors, those warriors, our first responders, our Gold Star families. Always surrounding myself by them gives me energy, I guess, kind of the extrovert in me, where I feed off that energy and try and share that to other people. And I think that's probably some of the best medicine, if you could call it that.
Yeah, I see your Instagram posts of, these fishing trips and stuff, and it's like, man, like, talk about, getting back to nature, pulling in, you guys are pulling in 2, 3, 4 foot long freaking fish, and like that looks like a blast with a bunch of cool people.
Yeah, it is. We got lucky because we tied in to Stoked on Fishing and Fox West Sports, and then all the sponsors through the last 4.5 years. The fishing has just taken off to the point where the guys built a separate page called Save the Brave Offshore, which is just nothing but fishing, and people love it. And you're right, we reel in some monster fish. I don't know how to fish. I just am told. I take orders now. The guys are like, "Sir, you need to come fishing with us." I'm like, "Roger that." So I get up at or Long Beach and then get on the boat. You can't help but be focused and connected when the line's in the water, you're trolling, and then you land a fish that something like 90 to 200-pound tuna. These things are monsters, and it is pretty exhilarating. And then you always got fresh sushi, so we're good.
Yeah, can't complain about that. Yeah.
No.
DIY sushi.
And just recently, you guys did the rifle. You guys raffled off the rifle, which when you unveiled that thing, I was a little jealous.
that rifle is pretty badass. Eric Hicks through Blackstone Arms built that for me, and that was just born out of his generosity when I rode my Harley across country this last July. And I stopped in Argyle, and Chris Muscle, who is my radio operator, he's a rifleman as well, he introduced me. And so Eric decides to build this rifle. On the way back, we hopped on the Chad Prather show, announced that we're going to do a drawing for it. And we held the raffle for a couple weeks. And then once we sold all 120 tickets, we raised $12,000 for that rifle. And then just this last Thursday, Nick Velez, who's the president of Save the Brave and the owner of Bastards Canteen, we flew down, stepped into Marty B's place in Bartonville, Texas, who hosted us, and got on stage and we announced the winner. And what was cool about it was Sarah, trying to think of her last name, Smith, is a Marine, and she actually did some promotion and helped share it on Instagram through her following, because she's a Marine. And so she was there. It wasn't actually Sarah that won the rifle. It was Tom Smith, and Tom's her dad. So Tom bought the ticket, and Tom tells his daughter, "Hey, if I win, that rifle is going to be your Christmas present." So if anyone out there is like, we did get a couple, you know how Marines are. They like to snipe from high platforms, like, "Oh, how convenient."
Yeah.
The person who, promoting the rifle won. I was like, it was totally random, man. It was like a beer bucket from Marty B's, and we threw all the raffle tickets in there, old school. We like shake this thing up. And then Robin Hicks, Eric's wife, reaches in the bucket. She's like fishing around the Michigan, and she pulled that name out. So it was cool because the video of Sarah jumping around and spinning is so cute. She was so excited to win. It was just really, really cool just to go down and share the message. And, everybody on the team wanted to go down. And I'm saying this gratuitously because there were a lot of people on the Save the Brave family that wanted to go down. And I said, great, buy a plane ticket and join us, because me and Nick paid for our tickets out of pocket. We didn't use company money for this. That's not what we do. And I say that, again, gratuitously, because I want anyone listening, any of the veterans especially, to know that SaveTheBrave.org, guys like me and Nick, the president, the executive director, we don't even take a salary. And I say that because we want all of the money we raise, or as much of it, to go back to veteran programs, those fishing trips, the hikes, the outreach programs, if Gold Star families need assistance, if one of our brothers or sisters, does commit suicide, we want to be there to help the families. We want to have the resources to do that. So we don't squander funds. We work hard at everything we do, not just for the nonprofit, but for our own personal businesses. And that's one of the things is you have to, continue to make a living and keep the lights on in your house, but also it creates that buffer so that you can go down and do those things. And we like to do it and represent SaveTheBrave.org and, be there to support. And every single time we go do an event like that, especially in Texas, man, I love that state. We just continue to make new connections and meet a wide variety of people well outside these military circles we tend to run in that want to help. And they say, what if I could do this? I'm like, great, put a plan together and send me an email and I'll see if we can improve it. But it was a great trip.
And you guys, what states do you guys primarily operate in for said events? Do you guys hit?
Okay, great question. So we're a California-based company, but we have other people across the United States that host the event. So if you own Bob's Wash in Boston, Massachusetts, and they say, man, how do I support Save the Brave in California? I say, have a car wash. Do whatever it is you're great at. So Bob's Car Wash hosts the first annual car show and car wash benefiting Save the Brave. So they do all the work, they set everything up, and they understand that, hey, one time a year, we're going to adopt a veteran nonprofit as our benefactor, and they're going to be the beneficiary of all the funds raised. And then they just cut us a check. And if we can show up to the event to say thank you in person, or to have me get on stage, or to sign some books or whatever, I'm always happy to do it. But by doing that, it again decreases our costs for administration and legal fees, because we don't have to create chapters across the country. It adds a whole different dynamic to it. So we just reach out to people, and this year in 2021, we're going to have a minimum of 100 people is my goal, doing 100 different events, trying to raise a minimum of $1,000. If I ask you, hey, could you raise $1,000 doing a bake sale? You're like, oh yeah, I make the best brownies. Like, great, do that. And then send me a check for $1,000. Think about that. I don't like to do math in public, but 100 people raising $1,000. It's $100,000. You can change and save lives with those types of resources. And that's what we do. And that's my goal for 2021, is to use that program with the help of our new chief directions officer and our chief financial officer that we brought on board, who are all also doing it for free. They don't want a salary. So that's our vision this year. But anybody around the country who wants to get involved, if you're listening to this episode, just email us, info@Save the Brave, or DM us, Save the Brave org on Instagram. Say, hey, that was a great idea. I do love to bake brownies, and I have an annual bake sale at my church or my school or whatever. I want you to be the beneficiaries of it. So it's easy. Just got to ask.
Just so what he is saying is, anywhere is, as long as the idea is good, anything is possible. I love that. That's just,
yeah. Well, people talk a big game about wanting to help. And, when I was down in Texas for the rifle giveaway, I stopped by to see Justin and Jake Schick over at 22 Kill. They gave us a tour of their facility, and they gave us our rings, to be part of the tribe. And, I love their mission, because we're both two separate nonprofits, but very singularly focused on preventing suicide. Not awareness, but prevention. And how do you prevent them from doing that? Is by creating these opportunities where they're forced to connect, forced to become involved in some capacity. And I know it started the whole 22 a day, 22 push-up challenge, but yeah, I 22 push-ups doesn't mean shit to me. I'll be honest with you. I can do 50 push-ups right now, and I'm 50 years old. You really want to impress me? Donate $22 a day for 22 days, or donate $22 a month every month towards a veteran nonprofit and make a difference. Because these VSOs in the Veteran Service Organization space, who are certified nonprofits with the IRS, they need those types of resources. All those cool things like fishing trips and horseback rides and all the things you see on social media, those all take weeks and months of planning, and they take a lot of people's time, but they also take resources too. And when I say resources, that's money. So we either do that through fundraising efforts, corporate sponsorship, individual donations, and then reoccurring monthly donations, which is, really probably the best way we could get that type of support, so we can continue to grow at the right rate and continue to help people. I think when you're talking about at the beginning of the show, the different modalities you can use to treat post-traumatic stress or depression or anxiety, whatever it is, whatever the symptom is, even if it's a physical limitation, guys who may have maybe very high functioning guys who are disabled, maybe they're an amputee or a double amputee, and they function fine, but they still want to get out. We need resources to help them do that. So we're pretty proud of the fact that we're doing the right things for the right reasons and helping the right people.
Is it important for you to include the Gold Star parents in what you guys do?
Oh, absolutely. We thought 2020 was kind of going to be the biggest year we could record as far as raising funds to support my other vision, which was inclusion of not just Gold Star families, but the families of veterans. So when you go out on a fishing trip, it's so vital that you're able to say, hey, can I bring someone? Can I bring my son? Can I bring my brother? Can I bring my wife? Because I think it's important for them to see what we do. And it's not just another boat filled full of boozy vets having a heyday out there on the water. And, you know.
Yeah, women and children have a
not
tendency to keep vets in check. Keep them
yeah, but I think
a little bit more on the level.
I think it's cool that, yeah. Well, I think it's cool that they can become part of the healing process, if you want to use that term, healing. But you know, when we get guys connected, they go out past the marker and they're disconnected from themselves. You are forced to be connected to each other. And once you're out there, it's not like there's 10 or 12 or 15 vets just floating around telling war stories. That's probably the last thing we ever talk about. Because we are
having some technical
guys,
difficulties.
you guys get
heard
that?
those same stories time and again. We're talking about fishing. We're talking about helping other people. Matter not what you did in the military.
Yeah.
So I think I caught most of that.
Yeah. It seemed pretty linear. It was just a little choppy. Your video is getting a little choppy.
Yeah.
On what's going on.
So
Might
so we're not talking about the military on these endeavors. We're talking about, you know, you're not even talking about what you did in the past. You're talking about like the future. You can move on. It's giving people the healing space to move on, like from that lifestyle, and maybe create a new life. Is what I was kind of getting from the choppiness.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. My internet is really horrible out here in one country in Temecula. I apologize. But yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Well, I think it's important too for, like, you know, say you take your wife or your son, for them to see you in a, you know, in a free environment, right? To be able to see the person that you want to show them that you truly are, you know, which is, you know, you can have fun, you can, you know, go fishing, you're not jumpy, you're not, you know, paranoid about what's going to happen. You know,
You're amongst like-minded individuals that like, so it's you feel a little safer too. Yeah. I can dig it.
Yeah. We try to create a very safe environment. Fishing's relatively low risk. And we make sure that we have professionals out there with us, not only from the fishing industry, because I don't even know how to bait my own hook. But
you're an officer, so
every show that's gonna come out.
It sure is.
Yeah, that's good.
So I think that this is a really good freaking point to bring up, like leadership and stuff. And when you exit the military and, you know, at a very young age and everything, you're given this responsibility, or not necessarily given it, but like you develop these skills, and you're entrusted with the responsibility to care for other people. But when you get out, you don't have that so much anymore. Yes, you have your family and everything, and it's important for you to be a leader, but all they see you as is dad a lot of the time and stuff. And it's really difficult to kind of like draw that line of what a leader is, or show them what that is. And I think that sacrificing your time and giving back to a community and stuff, and putting yourself out for other people is, in a big way, a way of displaying leadership and stuff like that to a family. So if you can get involved, and if you can have your family out there and stuff to witness these things and stuff, it'll definitely strengthen those bonds and everything like that. But also, you're involving the other people around you in your family, and letting them see that, you know, it doesn't all end when your service ends. There's more facets to it and everything that carry on. All those skills, they stay with you, and they're still useful.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'd ask you guys that question. How important is that to you guys as veterans?
What's that? Leadership or family? Both.
Oh, not just the leadership, but being surrounded by family and those who understand you. I mean, that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would say that's, that's like a top tier, like, I want my family to see me, as the person that, not necessarily, not the Marine. I am Andrew. I am the father and the husband, and,
yeah.
the son, the brother, not the, fucking rifle carrying, weirdo that I used to be.
W- Getting back with these guys on this show is probably the best thing I've done for myself in a long time, and it's something that, you know, I guess as to them maybe I don't see that way, but to my family, it's my wife would describe me as, you don't let anybody over your wall. You spear them as they come over. Nobody, you don't let anybody in, and you're always alone, and blah blah blah. And and it was true. And then I get back with these guys, and just these feelings that I haven't had of like being with people a family. It's what you would call family. Like what I see, certain people have at Thanksgiving. Yeah, I love my wife and my immediate family. Like I'm talking my wife and my kids and maybe certain friends I've picked up, but like it feels like I haven't been at a Thanksgiving if it doesn't feel like family until I got back with the homies. So, it's everything. And that's why I was asking what states do you rock out in, and then when you explain the circumstances, I'm like, dang. And it's right here, and it's taken me talking to you on this episode to even start exploring that too. So that's like, it's everything, I would say.
Well, we were sitting here, Nick and I. He's probably here at my ranch right now somewhere. I don't know, but he's getting ready to open up another restaurant here in Temecula, and so he crashes here in one of my guest houses. And we were sitting here talking. I was writing this so you could see it, but like this word right here, engagement, like that word is what we want these veterans to do. We want them to engage with each other. We want them to realize that once they get off the boat, we're not just going to say, hey, have a great time. Hope you landed a bunch of fish. No, we're putting them on task, and we're putting you on mission, because we know that the water and the fish and the camaraderie helped you to whatever degree, but they also need to be tasked out, just like any sergeant would or any officer would. You need a mission. So their mission when they leave is, hey, you got to find the next guy that we're going to take fishing. And oh, by the way, if you come fishing with us again, you're not going to be out here enjoying the day as much as you used to. You're going to be helping these other vets. So by giving more of themselves really helps themselves. That's part of my whole philosophy, is that I'm really only helping myself when I help others. So that's something that we really want to ingrain into our philosophy as a nonprofit, and just a group of veterans that kind of gets it, man. We're not a bunch of pro vets. I don't know if you guys kick that term around on the show or not, but I think you know what a pro vet is. He's this guy who, and I'm not judging or saying like their PTS is worse than mine or their physical trauma is worse than mine. But there's these pro vets that they wear nothing but 511 and, tactical T-shirts with their service on it. And they hop from veteran support group to veteran support group. And like I can only imagine their whole calendar is booked with horseback riding and fishing and shooting and golfing. And so I'm like, how much support do you need to take in for yourself to start giving back and say, you know what, I want to be part of that. I want to set up an event. I want to do something for my tribe instead of being a taker. Like if you're that guy, man, hey, if you need the help, more power to you. There's organizations out there to help you. But within Save the Brave, I think it's vital that the message we're sharing with the guys we help and girls is, great, move on. Now tell me what you're going to do with this experience to help others. And that gets lost along the way sometimes. And it happens to donors too. I challenge them this Veterans Day and over the Marine Corps birthday. I said, I went down to the base and I spoke as the guest of honor at HMLAT 303, the training squadron down there. And that was one of the biggest things I said to the Marines was, they always talk about, hey, you stand on the shoulders of giants. And I submit that these young men and women that I was looking out, speaking to, they are giants. You just never consider yourself a giant when you're in the uniform. But in 30, 60 years from now, that's what people will be saying about them. So I tasked them, what are you going to do about it now? What are you going to do with my story and my message and my wins and losses when you leave here? How are you going to impact those you meet? Is it going to be one person, 5 other people to share that message? It doesn't matter. You have to do that. The fact that you show up at an event, you donate money, you buy a ticket to come have cake and barbecue, that's great. But when you leave, tell 5 other people, 10 other people, I was at this event and here's how you can help. Because having that exponential reach of whatever you want to call them, ambassadors or disciples or whatever, it's not, trust me, I'm not preaching any gospel. I'm just saying these followers on social media, how many people are sharing that message so that all the veteran nonprofits can really continue to grow at the right rate? I just think that's an important message I want to share with you guys.
Absolutely. And, to what you were saying about, you don't really see yourself as giant when you're in the uniform. It's in the infantry, guys are a lot of times known by reputation. Warbag, for example, who was Joey and I's, grand senior, he was our senior. It was like, holy shit, there's Renfro, another one is one of his peers, Shaw. And for the longest time, even though I was struggling, I would never reach out to them because I was like, man, these guys are so much, more fucking, these guys are so much more giant than me. And then finally I just reached out and I was like, oh, they're dudes. They're just humans, and I think the fear of, that sort of somebody's going to be like, oh, you need help. Oh, what a pussy. That doesn't happen. Or at least if it does happen, that guy that says that is probably a piece of shit. And you should, there's other guys to reach out to.
Yeah, there's two sides of the coin. We were at one extreme where the guy who's jumping around getting all this help, and then the other guy who might need just a little push, he's just bottling up and like kind of dying. Is that kind of like that, but I especially like the piece when you're talking about that guys, how are you going to give back? I've mentioned that like in general, not just in the veteran community. I think that's a big part of our country's problem from the places I've worked at a trillion places, and it's just kind of all the same. Most people are like, what can this place do for me? Or we've adapted this, what can things do for me? We've adapted that attitude. In actuality, it's what, if everybody had the what can I do for other people mentality, I think things would be a lot better than they are. So, but anyway, I'm off my tangents.
I'm trying to just like not wait for my turn to talk here, but I've got a thing. I mean, I just think that, and that's a horrible way to start things because you already know it's going to be oppositional to everything that everybody else just fucking said. But
it's okay, Warbag.
So I'm going to go ahead and preface this with challenges that we need to get the fuck over. So the first thing is like that shame challenge, right? So we look around at the all right. So me, I'm still active duty, right? And for active duty service members and everything, there's a challenge of like freaking what you do with your social media and everything like that could come back to bite you in your fucking command. That's I mean, sure, that's a thing. Or maybe you're going to get shamed by your peers or your friends or whatever like that. And that's fine. They might dump on you just a little bit for being like, for putting on filters or doing 22 push-ups, and that's fine. Let it happen. But when you're out, which I have no experience in because I've never been the fuck out, I think that a lot of that goes into not so much the shame, but like why me? Why should I be the one that bothers? Like, am I even that good? Do I even matter? Right? What can I give? What could I do? What can I freaking provide? And you don't think that you're much, but you are. Your ability to connect with other people and stuff like that is filling the gap. All right. So it's a rifle in the freaking defense. It's a set of eyeballs in the freaking insecurity and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's all of that. You're just filling a gap with the surface, and that's you. You're freaking touching all the points and everything like that. You're out there doing the thing, and that's good. That's fine. You should do that. I think that's great. I mean, maybe it sounds a little bit freaking preachy, but I have this issue. I have this issue that I challenge with, that I'm challenged with a lot of times with what do I do and what can I do, or what's going to be taken seriously or anything for all the things that I do and stuff like that, playing my freaking guitar, my ukulele on my Instagram, or freaking basically going with this attitude of Doc Holliday, like I have not yet begun to defile myself in my drunken podcasting, like trying to spread a little bit of not so much awareness, but information to where other people can freaking run to, latch onto, whatever. It may not matter much to me, right? Like I like freaking dudes that print t-shirts and freaking post memes and cool freaking like videos and stuff like that with motivated history and shit. But maybe that's not everybody's thing, and that's fine. If you touch all those things, you can freaking reach out to a whole bunch more people, and that's fine. Just hit the claymore.
Well put.
I guess.
You know, I think an important thing with, you know, these veterans organizations too is helping to bridge the gap between the eras of veterans as well. You know, having Vietnam guys with, you know, Gulf War guys, OIF, OEF. I mean, shit, I've been to events with World War II vets, and it was like, Jesus, like these guys are, you know, what America's, you know, built on. Like these guys are, you know, they're called the greatest generation for a reason.
They're still having parties. They're like 100.
Yeah.
I saw a 90, I think he was 95 years old at the time, chug a beer faster than I've seen anybody drink a beer. And I was like, man, imagine this guy on, you know, VE day, like with that first beer.
Like, nobody knows if those guys were fucking shitbags. That guy could have been a fucking light duty commando and shit like that, or fucking like, once or twice. He might have been a fucking binge drinker that was pretty good at fucking running 3 miles at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning and shit like that, still hungover or still drunk. You might be that guy, and that's fine. But now, dude's a fucking hero. He's my hero, even if he is that guy.
Yeah, I mean we could all hope to be, you know, that's how we could all be so lucky. We could all be so lucky.
Well, I think too, Scott. You know, you don't have to do this, right? Like this isn't, you know, you did your time. You're retired. You know, you wrote a book, an amazing book. You know, you could, you know, and I know personally you probably wouldn't be able to do this to just, you know, kind of fade off into the you know, darkness, but you choose to serve veterans. You know,
I do. Yeah, it's, you know, there's no expiration date on my commission. Like I don't, and this is a choice. I choose to continue to lead. I choose to put myself out there and have an impact on those that I think I can influence to a degree. And honestly, I don't care if I influence the three of you guys whatsoever, because you pretty much get it. The other night,
I think,
especially you. No, what I'm saying is,
have you been on
you
been on freaking Jocko podcast yet?
I have not. No.
You should, and I would love to see you there, because you guys were in the same fucking shit. Like, you probably were on some of the same ops and shit.
He was. We were invited at the same time, and he lives right in San Diego. I just, for whatever reason, out of the hundreds and hundreds of pods I've done, I've not been invited on his show. So I'll.
Maybe I should spam his fucking. Maybe I should freaking spam his IG.
Ryan Hendrickson give him No, Jocko and I other we've been to a couple of events, and but you know, the message that I'm trying to share with people is the other 99% that really need to understand.
It's like an officer who's making us wait.
No, I don't think that. I think that's the video that lagged out. As soon as he was gonna say something important, it just freaking shut down, just like a PFC.
Yep. Thanks, Obama.
Just like a PFC.
He's
in the
back.
freaking
He's
brief.
back. He's
Okay.
back.
We're sitting here receiving the order and shit like that. As soon as you're about to say something important, you're shut off.
We can edit.
I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna go outside, see if we get any better reception.
Like, and your fire support tack is. Like, I need to know. I need to know.
Get on battalion tack too. Shit.
How about now?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
All right. We'll take it out we'll take the rest of the pod out by the pool.
Nice.
Oh.
So definitely doesn't have to be doing this. Chilling in wine country by the pool.
No, but the message I was sharing was, it's the other 99% who I want to affect is not just that 1% of veterans and guys like you who are on active duty, and you guys totally get it. So I shouldn't have to explain it to you. Sharing that message is something I'm privileged to do, and I'm really lucky to be influenced by guys like our World War II generation, like Herschel Woody Williams. Like I've spoken in the same venue with him. We've been to the same venues, and I ask him, how does he do it? He says, well, I just keep moving every day. I just keep moving. And then I talk to guys who are kind of in my peer group too, and that come from different generations. Like I was on the phone with Carl Marlantis this week, and
I think they're on the couch.
I love talking to Carl because he's got a 50-pound brain in that head of his, and I love teasing him mercilessly because he's got an Ivy League education, and I said, what is it that keeps you going? And he's the exact opposite of me. He's a self-proclaimed introvert, and I said, well, I don't ever describe you, Carl, as an introvert because we get on the phone and we talk for like an hour. And he says, yeah, that's because you're like one of those only guys that gives me energy to go do something else. But normally he just likes to, focus inward and write. But he's got such a brilliant mind. And that's why I love talking to him. And every time I call him, it's normally for a favor anyway. So, that's Marines. So, but I was really happy to talk to him this week and, ask him for his name and blessing on the documentary I'm working on now. It doesn't get any better than that for me. And when I entered the Marine Corps at age 19, I never thought I'd have the opportunity or friendships that I enjoy today. But again, you have the ability to cultivate those relationships. You have to pick up the phone and call people or text them. A lot of people think texting's impersonal, but you've probably got 1,000+ contacts in your phone, and then there's somebody like, oh shit, who's this guy again? Why do I have his phone number? And then you text him like, oh, that's right, he runs this podcast, or I was on his show, or I met him at this event. And just that simple message to check in. It may sound a little bit sterile, but it's just like the boot camp adage, you got to send mail to get mail, brother. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. You got to send mail to get mail. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Can't fix it if we don't know. Another.
Yeah, chicks on
wise
Tinder
quote.
aren't just gonna fucking text first. This ain't Bumble. God.
Yeah.
You gotta send them the old hey, or did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That was my go-to line back when I was a little Tinder fella.
Dude, I didn't know how to work a phone to even operate. I had it the old-fashioned way for me.
Most of the time it would bomb and stuff like that, but like a lot of times it'd be like, no. And I'd be like, all right, let's just drop the rest of this line. I thought not. It's not a story. It's a Sith legend.
And meanwhile, Scott's like,
Rack 'em.
I screwed chicks? What? What?
No, officers would never do that.
It's more fun trolling for Star Wars fans. It's good. Once you find the one, I mean, that's the one.
And Andrew, you get one officer joke per episode. That's it, buddy.
Well, okay.
I mean, he's a Mustang. Remember, he's a Mustang.
I have an actual.
You got to give him a little bit of slack there. He knows how to land
the
that.
guy, he's probably
First of
the
all,
guy
he knows
that's
how to
got
land.
a book of officer jokes on his bookshelf too.
Right, that's what he's looking down at. If you notice, each
Dunk's
time he looks
Almanac.
I got my
It's
cheat
like
sheet.
it's like that
Dunk's
freaking
Almanac
bird
is
that's
zero.
doing stand-up comedy and sweating balls. It's like can't do land nav, can't do land nav, can't do land nav.
Joe, you know, I see your Vet TV sticker. I've been watching. Have you seen A Grunt's Life? Has anybody?
Yeah, and they didn't just like do that one as a series. The series is, I like it better compartmented into the series and stuff, but they did compile it into a movie, and that was pretty cool.
But you know, within Lieutenant Murphy, who is the psychopath of the platoon, is one of the first thing one of his first lines is asking a lance corporal to do something for him. He's like, "Hey, can you run in
Go
there?
grab my gear.
Yeah,
Go grab my gear for me."
I was like, "You nailed it. I'm gonna watch the whole thing because that is absolutely." I have seen more officers do that, but not saying that, you know, I've also seen plenty of officers that have carried way more weight than anybody and have walked more miles than anybody.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's in the TNR though.
Yeah.
That lieutenant reminded me more of one of our sergeants than it did an actual lieutenant, because I had two rocking lieutenants. Both my lieutenants were actually three of them. One was old. He was former Force Recon, and took us on a death run. The moment we got there, I was like, yes, this old guy. I'm good.
Lambert.
2 minutes later.
Oh,
Yeah, bro. He said it's on.
Love that guy. He's
Dude, yeah, he just does a death run, no big whoop, and then
Yeah.
we get A-Rod, who's obviously a younger version of Lieutenant Lambert.
No, dude, no shit. He kept the same safety brief the entire time he was in. Like, no shit. When when he picked up Major, he went back to freaking or actually I think when he was picked up Captain, he went back to Recon. And I know a guy that was I work with him right now who was he was you know, a recon inside of his platoon and stuff like that, one of them freaking dudes and shit. And we were talking about safety briefs one day, and we were saying the same shit. I'm like, where you get that from? If you're gonna drink, don't drive. If you're gonna drive, don't drink. If you're gonna have sex, have safe sex. Don't have sex with the same sex. So, you know, so on and so forth.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That one.
What was your libo brief, Scott? You gotta
hit us with your libo brief, please.
Yeah, did you? Yes, we.
It's about to be Thanksgiving. Everybody's about to go on a 96 and shit.
Yeah, this is a definite 96.
Libo brief. And I was first sergeant or sergeant major, go get the libo brief. That was my libo brief. So I knew my place.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
To avoid piggybacking off of what the CO just said.
Yeah. I was a staunch hater of the formation post formation, so I never wanted to be that guy. But I had some great senior enlisted leaders, so I always trusted them that they got paid for a reason. So I kept it at a minimum. But you know, just
I don't.
Spoken like a true Mustang.
I just kept everything short. I just kept everything short to make sure that you know it's kind of a, I don't know, maybe it's a Pete Carrollism or Wootenism, but you know, how do you say something to a group of hundreds of young 19-year-old kids that they're going to remember once you leave their presence? And that's why I always had a very short command philosophy. It was simple. It was, we will train hard, we will fight, and we will win. That was it. That was my leadership philosophy, and I guarantee you probably one of the three you could recite it back to me right now if I asked.
If you.
But in the absence of my leadership, that's all I wanted them to know, because in the end, we're all each other has. And I always envisioned it happening that way, where two lance corporals were in a building somewhere slogging it out, and you know, they just look at each other like, hey man, it's getting really, really bad here. What would the CO want us to do? And one of them maybe remember my leadership philosophy, say he'd want us to win. So they'd win. That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
if you
good
run a
old days.
page-long soliloquy with your 3/4 profile and the flags taped above the pissers, no one's gonna read it. They're probably gonna laugh at it. It'll probably get pissed on once or twice, but they won't remember.
No.
So
No.
whether
No,
it's
you're
a
right.
limo brief or
It's done it
or your
once or
command
twice.
It's a
philosophy,
fucking
you just
page
have to
long.
keep it short.
It all says the same thing. Something about skill and will.
Our generation would have drawn dicks all over it.
Oh yeah, that would have had
Oh,
dicks drawn
no,
on
you
it.
damn fucking
would've-
right. Wagner
Oh.
loves the cock. But
But man.
Like,
Spoken.
no, that's a damn good philosophy, and I think that's it.
The
A lot
the
of
good
times,
old days, man.
yeah, a lot of times we at the lower, or don't call them lower, at the small unit leadership level, had a tendency to freaking go into this thing of we're professionals, right? Professionals. That doesn't mean we don't fucking drink and fuck around. What it means is we don't train until we get it right. We train until we can't get it wrong. That's what being a professional is. That's it. And y'all remember freaking long days and nights in the squad bays doing freaking mag reload drills and then taking that log to the top of the fucking mountain or putting on our gas masks or freaking dissing ass and machine guns in the middle of the night and shit on vampire hours. Those are good times.
Yep.
Just the other day, my civilian brother-in-law handed me a rifle and said it should be loaded, and I still did the old pop, and what the hell, the shell pops out. I'm like, that's why I don't go hunting with civilians, man. I really don't.
No, I got to do this tomorrow. I had a freaking safety stand down for. I'm in a Navy command, and I got to do a safety stand down thing on weapons safety. And because I'm like one of the few infantry guys that freaking consistently deals with freaking like bullshit and training, so I'm visible. They recruited me for this one. I'm like, all right, cool. I got a rifle for the BST and shit like that. I guess I can do that. Then I'm like, fuck, I got to do better. Let's look up freaking California laws on freaking gun safety. What kind of safes you have to have. The freaking little steps for children. Stop. Don't touch. Leave the area. Tell an adult. That bullshit. So I'm going to have to go through that fucking crap because it's the Navy.
Well, but back to kind of what Scott was saying, your command philosophy, you also lived in the CP. So, I think there was also a threat of, you could show up at the barracks anytime, which in the book you talk about, going over to the barracks. And because, you're a Mustang, you know what happens in the barracks,
Yeah, I damn well what happens in the barracks.
Well, I tell you, there's still moments to this day where as you get older and the relationships grow, I find out more things that I probably didn't want to know was happening at every level of command I held. That would have probably got me fired, but I enjoy the stories. I enjoy the stories now, like the secret videos of Fight Club or whatever. And
Oh yeah.
but
Look,
again, I was an enlisted Marine. I know what those guys do, but sometimes there's always a level of plausible deniability at the NCO level.
Deniability is my favorite word.
you don't have plausible
I
deniability
appreciate it.
when it shows up on fucking TikTok booths.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest. It should be a part of the UCMJ is stupidity when they take a video and post it on YouTube. That's
God. Like all right. So first of all, there's nothing wrong with fucking like shotgun and beers and stuff like that, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing a freaking like drinking beers out of an AT4 or a fucking law. Absolutely zero things wrong with that.
As long as it's been cleared. If
Right.
you cleared it and it's no longer a threat, then you.
Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
cleared it.
and that's the thing. Like, once upon a time in division schools, there was a beer garden. You weren't allowed to drink or eat food inside of the barracks because, rodents
Rats.
and whatnot. Right. So you're not allowed to do those things. So we had this beer garden. And we're all in the same motherfucking company. Like, or if not the same battalion and shit like that, going through the same courses and everything. So, machine gunners, we ruled the beer garden because we were mean as fuck. And we were also the closest to it. Let's be realistic and shit like that. We ran the beer garden because we were the closest to it. But damn, did we fucking sit there and we just bulldogged everybody the fuck out of there. We would just be the craziest, dumbest motherfuckers. Like, go get your flak jacket. All right, fucking do. And the next thing you know, it's like double jump kick into somebody's freaking sappy plate and shit like that. And all this fucking wild stuff happening in the beer garden. Like, why is this happening? But it wasn't us. We didn't spray paint Chemlite juice and piss on the instructor's cars in the parking lot. That wasn't us. Promise. That was definitely the 11s. That had to be
absolutely. But, you know, you can never underestimate the ability of a group of lance corporals to fuck something up.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, someone will always take advantage of your freaking visibility. That's one thing. Like if you are the loudest mouth on something, someone will always freaking take advantage of that. Either it's trying to come up, like Alex Jones, the loudest mouth. But there's always someone a little bit freaking crazier than Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, I love me some Alex Jones.
Bag.
Goddamn lizard people.
So
lizard
you
guys,
freaking
frogs gay.
But seriously though, like one of our officers, like as you said, Scott, you had plausible deniability, but like you know, our Officer Reed, we would purposely, you know, we knew. I doubt he knew that stuff was going on, like, or he didn't care to look, or I don't know, but I think some of the stuff
he never fell for our traps.
Never fell for our traps.
We would always try to get him to come down the berthing to, you know, somebody was going to give him the goat or something like that to say that you got the captain. And
yeah, they probably just beat him up because he was just like a normal person that didn't do that stuff.
No, man, you had First Sergeant, and he was just like, "Don't go down there."
Our first sergeant was a cook. He knew nothing.
No, he knew well enough to come in on Saturday and see what the fuck was going on. Because I've been on duty like 4 or 5 times.
I've got
on Saturdays where friggin' he showed up in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night or both, and I was just like, "Damn, First Sergeant, what's going on?" He's like, "You know, I was just cruising around, seeing how the boys are doing." I'm like, "Just because your family's in Pennsylvania and not on campus."
Oh, you just accidentally showed up in Horno in the middle of the night?
Yeah. No, he's doing his due diligence to fucking check on his dudes and stuff like that, but the duty NCO got it. The one night he doesn't show up was the
Oh,
night of the epic tale of the Sappy Plate Assassin.
Oh, God. So
okay, Renfro, Scott's our guest. You're not our guest. You stop.
No, no. I'll tell you a story on another episode of this one. You're gonna love it.
I'm just amazed, though. I'm just amazed. I just like it's whew.
So, Scott, what is the craziest thing that you did as an enlisted, as a little?
If you're allowed to talk about it,
what is?
You're allowed to talk about it. You have a beard now.
Yeah. Your boss is you.
And a pool.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Tell you can't swim in it?
I'll take it. I'll take it to the bottom of the pool with me. I'll never tell. I think you guys just highlighted the importance of OPSEC for doing stupid shit. So yeah.
As said by a true enlisted person.
The statute of limitations is already passed.
From what I understand, I am not calling you old, Scott, but from what I understand,
no statute of limitations on being a dumbass. Trust me. that will haunt you your whole life.
No, I will live there.
No expiration date.
A dynamic dumbass. That's who I am, and I will hold that. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Yeah, dude, I think our generation was just a whole different beast versus because I've heard the older generation before us, it'd be the MPs would be back in the day, like the Marines would be running from the cops, and before cops were allowed to be on base, I had a gunny tell me the story. The MPs would be like, "Come on, get in," you know, and then you could roll through the gates and they just stop the cops. Like, "Nope, sorry, can't come in." But we were in the generation, our MPs would have been like, "Yeah, burn them." So it was just a completely different time, which I don't know. Funny how that works. I'm kind of curious. So we already
I never had a problem with the MPs. For that one time they caught, what the hell was his fucking name? The one that went UA from freaking 29 Palms and shit.
Fry.
Stole a Humvee, drove it all the way back to Camp Pendleton to get his.
That was another one.
That was
Yeah.
a different time. Yeah.
So
All the way back to Pendleton.
Scott, during Joey and I's, I think was it our first Mojave Viper? Our first.
Yes, it was. Because I was still there.
A junior Marine stole the lieutenant's Humvee from Camp Wilson, and drove it all the way back to Pendleton because he needed his laptop. And then, but he didn't check the trunk. He had like a bunch of machine guns and shit in the trunk of the Humvee. And the only reason he got caught is because entering base, he didn't have a ground guide. So
an A driver. He didn't have an A driver in the freaking truck. And they're like, that's odd.
And not to mention he's wearing green on green with no gear on.
That's a bold.
Yeah.
Why'd you?
But it was all planned.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
I think I forgot who his platoon commander was, but I talked to him later, and he said that he had a full journal. He like planned it out, and when he meets back up with him later, he's like, "Hey, just want to let you know that your job planning this was fantastic."
So your mentee was a little bit off.
Probably made Marine of the Quarter.
Yeah, good initiative, bad judgment.
I mean, your mentee was a little bit off. I mean, we should say to you AIC for this. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, Scott, before we let you go, what does Save the Brave have coming up, or what do you have coming up that people can tune in and see, or help support?
December 12th, I'm back in Texas with a good friend, Brian Searcy. He's doing a day of fellowship and on the range with the veterans. So for $125, you can buy a ticket to the invite-only event. I'm going to be down there. I got sponsored to go shoot, so I'm flying back to Texas, which I don't need much of a reason to do. But we're going to be out on the range shooting. It's a smaller event, and it's going to be geared up for Brian's big event. And interestingly enough, Brian's wife, Heather Searcy, is the one that is now doing all of our apparel for Save the Brave, and she does it for free. She owns a Lantern Inc. down in Texas, and when I met her in Bartonville, she said, "Yeah, I want to do something." And I go, "Great, what do you want to do?" She's like, "Well, I want to make all your swag." I said, "All right, I'll put you in touch with me." She goes, "No, I want to do it for free." So Brian and Heather, it's amazing. I mean, there's just amazing people out there. So Brian's going to do the shoot on the 12th, and then we've got some more events. If you want to find out what we're doing at Save the Brave, just follow us on Instagram. Save the Brave org on Instagram. Or
I'm gonna put you on my link tree, and I'm gonna collect about freaking 22 more of them, because now that you've gone freaking like you've done and fucking challenged me with my tax return. With my tax return, $22 a day for 22 days for my measly 700 followers.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No, like,
but we are gonna put the link. Save the Brave.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna share the living fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Like, savethebrave.org.
I mean,
it's a lot of people have their own charities they want to give to. I totally understand that. But for veterans that are out there listening that have no charity and they think, "Oh man, I want to do something great," reach out to us at info@savethebrave.org or DM us at savethebrave.org on Instagram, and just let us know what you're great at. That's where it all starts. And there's some people too that you see them spread an inch deep and a mile wide. They support everybody on social media, like all these Marines supporting, the Navy SEAL Foundation, thinking like, isn't there more people in the Navy than there are Marines? I'm like, support the Marines first, man. Help your own first. I mean, we help every branch of service. We don't discriminate. But I'm saying is commit to something. Like just commit to something. Don't be like, yeah, I'm good at this. Or I probably have $5, $10, $20 increments coming out of my paycheck every month that I don't even know who I'm donating to anymore, because that's how I give. And then I donate my time to savethebrave.org for free. So throughout the year, whether it's spread the word, getting that message out there, I just want to tell anyone listening or watching to this episode is whatever it is you think you can do, you absolutely can make a difference, and you can absolutely help save lives if you get involved. But you first have to get off of your ass
You have to get off of the couch. You have to get out from behind the computer sometimes, and you got to show up. You have to do it. There's these guys that hiked 22 miles for us last weekend. They said, well, we're going to hike, but we also want you to benefit from our endeavors. And we posted that. And these 3 guys went out. 2 were civilians. 1 was a grunt from Echo Company and named Gabe Garcia. But the other 2 guys, 22 miles is no small feat, even for infantrymen. But they did it, and they showed up. So I drove up the mountain, met them up there to support them with a little swag, and then I did a little bit of sweet talk to the Big Bear Fire Department, asked them to pull the rig out, and they hit the lights and sirens when they crossed the 22-mile mark. It was pretty cool. But just do that. Just do that for yourself. Do it for others and help themselves, and give of yourself. It really makes a difference. So, but hey, to you guys too, man, I want to thank you again for inviting me on the show. And if you ever need guests, you can email me, let me know. I'm happy to share with you guys. And because all you got to do is take a look at the Break It Down show and see all the vets we've had on that show. But always happy to make intros for you guys. You're doing great stuff, man. I just appreciate you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Scott.
We appreciate you.
Yeah,
Likewise.
definitely. And Scott, tell you what, man, after this is over, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you a DM and stuff for my friggin' IG. And if you need anything heavy picked up or put down and stuff, I'll come out and do it for you. I'm not too far. I'm about 40 miles away, if that shit. And I love driving. So if you need support in anything that you do after 1630,
I got to figure something out too, but
I still got this job that I got to do.
Yeah.
Like, for real. No, but if you
Man.
need support on anything that you fucking do, man, like, I'm down to do it. Like,
Love it.
got nothing better to do with my life. And it's just definitely one of the better things that one of the things that I would be happy to give my time up to for SaveTheBrave.org and
Thank you.
and put out for you. Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, it is an honor, sir, as always.
Any saved rounds, guys? Good.
No, man, I just
chill.
appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us goofballs here.
No, I'm going to ask you to fucking come on my show, too. I'm going to be an asshole.
Anytime, man. I love it.
All right.
Hey, thanks again, man. Semper Fi.
Semper
Hey,
Fi.
bro.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Be safe.
And then, good dude.
That's freaking cool. Man,
We're-
we're just waiting for you to, like, sign off so we can start talking shit.
That,
People
Don't worry,
should-
we'll hold them to the one.
It's like that wish. Like, I wish I could hear the next 10 seconds
check
of
on my-
of what's on the line after someone hangs up.
Don't worry, he's a teenager.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right.
No, so, hey, Joe, send me your DM me your info, or Andrew, just send in my contact info if you could.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
Absolutely, for sure.
Right down the road.
All right. For sure.
All right, guys. I will talk to you soon, man. And again, let me know if you need anyone else on the show, man. I'll make the intros for you, brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
All right, mate.
Sounds good, brother.
All right.
Peace
All
out.
right. Bye.
That was fun. That was good. I had a good time.
It's all we
Guys.
do. Yeah, I'm back from the dead, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where the hell have you been?
Shit, I don't know. I've been having like some.
Been
actual-
creeping and peeping. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah, just sick. I just got sick for a while, and
You got the Rona?
no, it was actually I determined my self-doctor
Yeah.
craziness.
Fucking
I'm
diagnosed.
You're
going to a
WebMD?
real doctor on the floor. Yeah, it's symptoms of gallbladder, perhaps. It's like
What?
Bad
Did you have
food.
one?
I have one, yeah,
A gallbladder?
possibly. I don't know, dude. I'm going to the doctor on the 4th.
That's the worst
I'm
thing.
done
You'd
with
be
the
like
VA.
fucking dead by now.
Okay. Hey
Yeah.
guys.
Well-
Real quick, we got to do an.
We got to do the sign off because
we'll
we're
do an
still
outro.
recording.
Oh shit, we're
uh,
recording. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm
Back from the dead, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was Scott Huesing, Save the Brave, Echo and Ramadi, fucking doing good shit for vets, keeping
SaveTheBrave.org.
SaveTheBrave.org.
Brave.org.
SaveTheBrave.org.
And if
Yeah.
you
How
were
many more
bored,
times do we gotta
and you're
say it?
bored,
3 or
and
4 more
you have
times?
something to give, then SaveTheBrave.org. You don't
Just
even have
fucking
to
donate
help.
it.
Maybe you
Just-
just want to help. Maybe
Just do
you
it.
Maybe
Put it
maybe
on, put it on your
maybe you
freaking
got a
link
cool
tree.
event planned.
One
Maybe
of
a
those
cool
people
party.
that got a link tree
We're gonna throw a badass party
because you
yeah.
got to tell people that you care about shit like me.
Yeah.
Like, it should go on there.
Dude.
Okay,
I
hey,
actually,
last time, 5 times, quick succession, savethebrave.org. Ready,
Say-
go. Savethebrave.org.
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 Save the brave.
Savethebrave.org.
Savethebrave.org.
Save the brave.
Savethebrave.org.
And we're